search documents and the most references, where depending on the AI model, it will pull resources from everywhere. And I hear this all the time. Well, Trevor, they're just going to pull misinformation and this and that. This is why you need to have refrigeration skills. So I'm not saying use AI and you don't know how to do refrigeration. You really need to understand how to do refrigeration. It is a supplement AI. And using AI to troubleshoot is going to make you faster. It's going to make you better. It's going to help you learn more, retain more, and really help you remember the things that you forgot. How many in the chat? I'd love to see how many of you are using AI right now for refrigeration, HVAC, or if not, just in your daily life, are you using AI to help write letters or fill out service tickets or find information for yourself? So a tiny bit. One person, Jason, thank you. Nelfie, server reports, okay. I use it all day, every day. Haven't used Google in months. There you go. A bit helps make service and SPO the starting port, a small bit. Okay. So I'm going to show you some things tonight on how I use it and why I use it and how I check the sources and the sources that I reference. Once again, like I say, this doesn't replace you. It doesn't replace the apprenticeship programs you need to take. It doesn't replace the information you have to learn by your codes in your states, in your province, in your country. This is a supplement. This can make you better faster. I'd love to hear from a few people. What are some of the AI models that they heard of before? Or things that they use that may be using AI at this point? Or do you guys know? Have you been listening or doing some research?
Chat GPT.
Joshua, perfect. Chat GPT is one of the big ones that came out, and it exploded. And this is not new. Like, this is over 4 years, probably even longer than that it's been out. But it's getting mainstream over the last couple of years. We don't see it in our industry very much yet. We see it in all the other, and this is it. We're a small niche. We don't see a lot of that new technology like IT spaces, security space, certain educations like banks, institutions. And Tertius put a huge one up there. I've used not all of those, but Perplexity is a huge one. ChatGPT, Claude. We'll talk about a few of those tonight. Write those down. Write those down. Gemini is another one. Phone Tap. I highly recommend writing those down, because if you don't start using AI to help you, you're going to be left behind. Honestly, I've been learning more faster now than ever before, at my fingertips. I used to have to read tons and tons of documents. For example, the one that's in the chat there, Claude, you can put a document, a PDF document in there. It will scrape the whole document. It'll look through the whole document, and it'll bring out all the top things. Okay. And what I mean by that, it'll say, if you ask it, what is the top 10 points from this document that's really going to help me out? And you could do this with a manufacturer's document that you wrote, and really speed up the process. The one thing that you do need to understand that is that it is learning. So the AI models that I'm using are continuing to learn from me. So they're customizing the way they give their information to me faster and better each time. They get stuff wrong. It gets stuff wrong all the time. Honestly, about 12 months, maybe 14 months ago, I started training mine on CO2 refrigeration. It knew nothing. Like, I'd ask it, what's a high pressure valve? It would talk about a high pressure control. I would ask it about superheat on a CO2 compressor. It wouldn't give me the correct answer. I would ask it specific things, but I trained it and I talk to it more and I put more answers in, I put more documents in, and now I'm telling you, it's smashing it out the park. Even Chat GPT over the last, I even say 6 to 8 months, it knows more about CO2 than refrigeration than I've ever seen before. And I'm talking about writing up service checklists, maintenance checklists, how to troubleshoot certain components, putting actual pressures in of the system, and it's spitting out the right answer. Now, don't get me wrong, I've done a lot of it where it shoots out the wrong answer. And even tonight, when we do some examples, and I'm going to show you some things and how I go through searching AI for troubleshooting, because it learns from you, and you can talk about ask it the sources. This is the thing that I do. You got to ask it more questions, and certain platforms can, and if you don't know much about refrigeration, it could lead you down the wrong direction, honestly. But the more you know about refrigeration, the better AI is. Okay. Gemini just released a free version today, and it's faster and more advanced than OpenAI. Things are moving so fast right now. Yeah. Um, there's a lot happening, and we are not at the cusp of it yet, especially in refrigeration and HVAC. There are people just like Tersh who are out there daily using it, learning it, getting better to help advance his business, the people around him, and just like me. If I want to help thousands of people in the industry, millions of people in the industry, me and my team that's continuing to grow, we're getting bigger and bigger. We can't do it ourselves. Refrigeration, there's so much information. So if you're a supermarket technician out there, you know that you go to one store, it could be an E3 on it. You go to another, it could be a Danfoss. You can go to another, it's RDM. You could go to another, it's microthermal. That's just the controllers. Then you got Borland valves, Danfoss valves, Perel valves. Then you got different case manufacturers, Hussmann, Hill, Zero Zone. So there's a lot for us to know. The foundation of refrigeration is key for us to understand and really have that baseline. This is why going in and learning the fundamentals that I'll talk about and having that base is so important. Um, I'd love to hear some questions that you've asked, like maybe some service questions in any of the AI platforms to try to find an answer, or throw some in the chat right now because I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up. We'll start with Chat GPT. I'll pull that one up, and we'll start to do some questions in there. And I'd love to hear what questions you would like to ask it. And we'll actually, whoever puts certain answers in there of certain questions, we're going to go through that, and I'm going to walk through those questions, and we can see together if it's right, if it's wrong. We'll find out the source and how to look at stuff. And then at the end, I'm going to show you something that I just did this week that blew my mind, and this is going to change our industry. If you hold on closer, then it is definitely going to change our industry, the way we do things. AI is not going to replace us. We need to go and think on our feet. We need to climb ladders. We need to change parts and components and clean things. This is a supplement to make us better. Okay. And I'm going to just pull up this here. Okay. So here's chatgpt.com. So a lot of you said that you've heard of it. This is the basic platform. This one here, you can do your own. You can build your custom GPTs where you can start feeding it in information, and it'll start to learn the things that you need to know. Okay. One of the things about ChatGPT, though, if you keep on the same string long enough, it may pull you and you ask a total different question. Say you're talking about refrigeration and then you jump into swimming, it may not compute it perfectly unless you work with that GPT. I don't see any questions. What AI platform we suggest to use? You can start with really any. I would say ChatGPT. It's a pretty basic, easy one. You got Microsoft Azure. There's lots of different ones. We got one question. Make a one-page SOP on how to review a work order and arrive to site to begin control. That's a great one, Jason. I appreciate that. Let's just throw it in exactly like that. I'm not going to change anything up. Let's throw up a refrigeration or HVAC. It will know, but let's go for SOP for refrigeration. Let's do HVAC, because there is way more HVAC information out there. And let's see what happens. So it populates. You can see how fast it starts to populate. And this is it. I'm not going to say this is going to be perfect, Jason, but it gives you, I'd love to hear your opinion after you just seen this. Okay. Procedure. Just give me the feedback. So review your work orders, site arrival and troubleshooting, put the date, the purpose to ensure consistent, efficient, and professional execution on the service call. What do you think of that? Just starting right off. Then verify your work orders, confirm job location, review any customer notes prior, gather required tools, ensure tools and documents, right? Arrive on site, safety and professionalism are designated area. Wear proper PPE. I've used this as a starting point and added points that are important to me that need to be included. Ensured safety is included 100%. So that's the stuff that you want to add, Jason, because that is key to having a successful, I guess, report. Like, so you go down and it drops through everything, and all of a sudden. So now, just say you want to say, can you make it specific for a heat pump application? And then diving in deeper. And so as you go forward with this will help you. Is it perfect the first time? Not always. It is a great starting point. And this is not to do all the work for you. This is honestly what AI is to help save you time. Time is the most precious commodity out there. And this is what we don't have forever. We run out of time very quickly. Especially in refrigeration, we only have so much time before that product starts to get warm. Okay, so here's and it goes through step by step, right? And this is kind of an SOP. So here's another one. What is dew point for superheat and bubble point for the second one? Okay, let's just dive it in here. Can you explain dew point for superheat and bubble for subcooling? And let's see what it comes out with. And it'll tell you, I've done all of these ones here. It gives you examples, how to check it. Look, it drops superheat, how to look at superheat. There is AI where now you can even get pictures. It's not perfect yet, but you can get pictures where it'll show you a picture of it. That's still in the works, but we'll see that more and more. Look, it even starts to dive in the blends. It talks about if you want to dive deeper, how does glide affect this? And then it'll dive into what glide is, how glide works. And, so this is not extreme. Like this is stuff that you could go to Google and you can search and it'll pull a document up and then you start reading a document. So what I would do here is can you state the sources you just pulled from? Let's see what happens. And here's the different places it should pull this information from. And so you should understand that, okay, well, ASHRAE, that's a pretty big association if you know here in North America. So it's pulling from there, it's pulling from EPA certificate training materials, manufacturer data sheets. So I always try to source it. Okay. And then when I'm diving deeper into, say, manufacturer documents or diving deeper into troubleshooting, that's where things start to get interesting. Okay. Got a question. How to solve problems, extreme low ambient condition in supermarket refrigeration. Okay. Let's dive a little bit deeper on that question because that's a great question. How to solve problems in extreme low ambient condition, supermarket refrigeration. Let's go one step further. Let's go like this. Let's just drop that in. How to solve problems. What could be a problem with a low ambient condition? What could be one? Let's see it in the chat because this is important. Like I said, we need to know refrigeration to really effectively use AI at this point because you want to understand when you're talking back to it that it makes sense. Okay, so how to solve a problem? Over condensing. Okay, so how to solve the problem in low conditions when the condenser is over condensing, I think. Let's just try this. I never wrote this in before, but let's see what it says. So it dives in, compressor struggles to maintain proper pressures. Yes, we should know that because low ambient, lower pressures, expansion valve and meteor, proper port is cooling. So we don't have enough pressure to push on the inlet to open up that TX valve to feed the EVs or the TXVs. Okay, so we'll dive in like problems. Okay, now let's dive in. What component do you need for low ambient applications? Let's see what it comes up with. So a headmaster valve, variable speed fan motors, fan cycling controls, liquid line, soil line valves. So it dives in a little bit deeper. A bypass valve, so ORI, ORD. So look, it's I'm just looking at this. I'm not reading through it deeply, but external equalizer, TXV 100%. You want to have those with that because they got balanced. These are most likely balanced port. Probably, I wish it was a balanced port there, but they got a bigger range. External equalizer, you're taking because most of the in a supermarket application, you have multi-circuit evaporators, so you're going to have an external equalizer on that to balance it out. Ambient temperatures. So now let's dive in and look ahead. It's lots of condenser, heat and insulated components. Like then we could dive in deeper. At what temperature? Sorry. At what temperature should? What temperature is recommended to split the condenser? Denser. See what it comes up with. So for me, that low. Okay. I would say it should be 50 to 55 Fahrenheit or say 12 Celsius. But this is how you train it. You train it. So you put a thumbs down. I believe it should be around 55 Fahrenheit. So this is training it now. So, and this here is just the open model. So this is not what I've been working on and developing and training it because we're just coming to a straight platform here and I'm showing you. So how splitting works, it talks about it. If you have a salt on dampers, an old way, actually there's I've seen a new system with some dampers on it, bypass valves. So it goes through and talks about some of the different controllers. This is key. So we didn't really dive into any real troubleshooting yet. We're just asking you questions. Okay. If someone does have a troubleshooting question, let's shoot it in the chat and we'll try it. But I just want you to see that how fast this puts up information. Is it perfect at this point? It's not perfect. But as you train it, it gets better and better and better. Okay. I'll give you a quick example. I have a 5-ton 404A system, and the head pressure is 80 Fahrenheit. The suction, oh, the head, the SCT is 80 Fahrenheit. The suction, the FFT is 20 Fahrenheit. The superheat at the compressor is 4 Fahrenheit. What is the problem? What are the things I should look for? So, low superheat. And then, so now it's diving in. Okay, we got refrigerant floodback. Okay, it could be the TX valve. It could be overcharged, insufficient airflow. So it's just giving kind of quick information on some of the things you can check. There's lots of these out there. Oil issue. There's a lot of information that it gives. And I would say with low superheat, TX malfunction, overcharge for sure, inefficient airflow for sure, incorrect compressor sizing or loading 100% low load. Oil return issue, well, that could be because it's too cold. So that'll give you some ideas there. And that was, how quick was that? Like, how fast was that? There is no way you could go on Google and get that much the information that quick. Is it all perfect? Is it all correct? Well, you have to understand refrigeration, understand like to really know. But this, like I said, is a supplement to your knowledge. Speed up the things that you may have forgot. Because you could go like this again. Not only do I have 4F superheat, and sorry for the people using Celsius or K. Not only do I have 4 degree super, my walk-in box will not pull down below 40, and 40F, and we want to run it at 30F. So now it'll dive into low compressor super. Let's see, inability indicates system may be undersized, improperly charged, experienced airflow could be. So now maybe you got to go check that the fans are running. Is the coil clean? Evaporator, super light evaporator, maybe overfeeding, allowing liquid to flood the suction line, resulting in low compressor superheat and poor cooling. So right there, that is a telltale sign. If you're flooding out that evaporator, that refrigerant can't boil off because the superheat's so low and it's not going to absorb enough heat. So you do need to, like I said, you do need to know refrigeration and thermodynamics, but how quick did that help me out? And then it gives you an idea of what the superheat should be, ideally. This stuff here, this information comes from the manufacturer, but we could just put a ton more in there. Verify defrost, access heat load of the box, evaluate condenser operation. Like this is things that we don't think about all the time because we're out there day to day on our service calls, fixing problems, putting out fires, talking to nice customers, talking to irate customers. And this can help us when we're in a situation and we can't really think. We work 12 hours a day. We work 7 days a week. And sometimes it's a lot. It's a lot to learn and a lot to know. But this here, I know for sure it will help you. You have to play around with it and start to learn it. Does it feel weird? For sure. The first time I started using it and it was popping out things, it was different. But you can use this to help your team. Just say you're a lead technician right now. I know there's some service managers on here and things like that, but just say you want to help your team. And you want to help them grow faster. And just say you have an apprentice out there. Want to help them grow faster. And just say you can help them out there. Want to help them grow faster. You can help teach them. This can help. You can help challenge them. Want to help them grow faster. For an example, it's like, write me a multiple choice question with the answer on. Write me say 5 multiple choice questions with answer on troubleshooting an overheated compressor. And so here is a way to get a bunch of questions and challenge the apprentice or that technician. Do you have to go and understand if it's the right answer or not? 100%. But this is something that will help speed up the time for you. This will shorten that learning curve for newer people. Do you have to go do the hands-on with them? 100%. You have to. You have to go put the gauges on. You have to go use the meter. But this here will help. Let's check out 1 or 2 of the questions. What is more likely cause of compressor overheating? High discharge pressure. Okay. We could ask it what high discharge can lead to excessive buildup. We could ask it what causes overheat of compressor. What causes overheat of a compressor? And then it'll dive in. It'll tell. And then you can elaborate on that, dive in deeper if you want to know. Did it work for line size? Okay, I love using this. More professional than most fellow journey. No insecurities, only answers which might not hit the mark, but good to get one thinking. So 100%, these are the things that could help you, and it's getting better and better. And if you don't start using it now, when are you going to use it? Think about that. Are you going to start using it in a year or 2 years or 5 years? I'm working on models right now to fully troubleshoot systems where you put in certain information and it'll actually walk you through step by step, just like you're calling your lead technician. So instead of calling your lead technician, you're on call at 2:00 in the morning, you call this and it'll walk you through step by step. This is the things that are happening out there right now to help you. And if you start learning how to use it now, it's going to make your life so much better. Was just trying it with line sizing. Did it work? Yes. Okay. There you go. Like, so you can do it for line sizing. You can do it for pressure drop. You could ask it if it needs a trap. You could, honestly, it is a very valuable tool. Okay. I'd love to hear somebody's thoughts on a few things that we went through in the chat. What do you think? Is this something that you're willing to try? I think that's step 1, is willing to try. And I have paid version. I'm paying for different versions of different AIs to really help me. There's one that I learned about today that I didn't know about, but it's Google Notes AI, I think, or Google Notepad AI. So this is to clean up all my PDFs, all my documents. I listened to this girl named Emily Laird. Emily Laird. I listened to this about maybe a month and a half ago. I listened to probably all the episodes, and it's definitely helping me think. I met with her, I had a conversation, told her the industry it was in, and she was like, she didn't even know that was an industry, refrigeration service technician. And just diving into, and I'll show you the one that the last couple that I just watched or listened to. It's the 12 days, and this is the one that that's June. Let's switch this around, and so I'm not logged in right now, but we'll go down. There's a few more, but the latest episode was on the August. We'll go to a few more. I highly recommend checking this out. Keep throwing those questions in the chat. We'll go down, and I highly recommend following this one. Listen to them. Some of them are different, right? Way above me, but like doing your finance and stuff like that, anything with numbers. Let me see. I just want to find what the name of that. Over here, Google's Notebook LM. I'm gonna start using that one. You can take pictures and it will describe components to degrees. Oh, Ryan, I'm going to show you something even crazier than that in a few minutes. Okay. Don't trust books 100% or chat GPT. There you go. So that's all good. You do you for sure, but always learn and you find different sources and you get different information. You have perplexity up here. Like you can ask it, who created the first air conditioner? Anybody know? Pictures. What's about it? It gives all the sources. Like this stuff is really cool. Okay. On a service call, don't know what gas is in the system. It's visible on the valve. How to find out what is around you, like compressor? Not 100% sure how to answer that question. Definitely AI is not going to be able to tell you what gas is in there. Realistically, you need to send that to a lab. Um, uh, Rating, plate, or model number. Let's dive into something really cool. So we just showed you some stuff here. We can dive in deeper. So in troubleshooting, like seriously, I put a bunch of numbers and models in it, and suction, discharge, volts, amps, and in the learning model that I'm creating, and it's spitting out, this is the check, this is the check. It's one of those two things. That's how close and accurate it's getting, and is getting faster and smarter and better to help us. Okay, and this is to help us and guide us. Once again, just like Ryan said earlier, he doesn't trust it 100%, but he doesn't trust books 100% either. Okay, so he says I don't trust books or ChatGPT 100%. Okay. And Bat says, I trust books 100%, but I can't trust ChatGPT. Well, see, that's the thing. How do you know that the book is 100% credible as well? There's a lot of books going out there today, but once again, do what makes you feel comfortable. I'm just saying, and just sharing this knowledge that this is out there. And I've been using it long enough that it's hitting 98% of the time, 95 to 98% of the time on the questions that I'm asking, troubleshooting questions and support questions. And it doesn't only have to be for troubleshooting. It's like it could be personal development stuff. How do I have a conversation with a teammate who is very passive aggressive? And it will give you suggestions. I've read tons and tons of personal development books, but AI has been speeding that up as well, helping me learn to have these crucial conversations is another one. So you're going to ask for a raise. You're looking for a raise. You can work with ChatGPT to give you the best odds in that conversation. And at the end, the only way you get a raise is by putting more work in, making the company more money, and bringing them more value. That's how you make more money. And I said this on the podcast so many times, is that you can only make as much as they can charge you out as, like, because you're getting paid, if you're getting paid hourly rate. Now, if you can bring in more money, the company, that's where they can pay you more. Do you know what? You can use ChatGPT to give you ideas. How do I do an energy efficiency audit? How do I make a system more efficient? How do I help my customer, my refrigeration customer, save more money? And it will spit out answers. Is there still work on the back end? Yes, because a lot of people think, oh, the answer should be there and it's just all simple and easy. No, we have to put work in this. And just like your refrigeration ticket that you have and the training you've done, you got to put the work in. And it's just like using these models. It is putting the work in. Okay. So I'm going to show you something that I've just seen and I just started using this week. And I want to hear what you guys' feedback afterwards is. You can keep throwing stuff into chat. I love that. Going really good.
Today.
I'm just checking out this device. Can you tell me what this is?
Looks like a thermostatic expansion valve, or TXV. It controls the amount of refrigerant flow into the evaporator, helping maintain proper superheat. Are you working on a refrigeration system?
No, yes, I am. If I squeeze this ball here, what happens inside this TX valve?
When you squeeze the bulb, you're warming it up, which causes the pressure inside to increase. This makes the TXV open wider, allowing more refrigerant to flow. Essentially, it mimics an increased load on the evaporator.
If this external equalizer gets plugged, what would happen to the system?
If the external equalizer gets plugged, the TXV won't sense the correct pressure at the evaporator outlet, cause the valve to underfeed refrigerant, leading to poor system performance, higher superheat, potentially overheating. It's important to keep that line clear.
What is this that says in?
The side labeled 10 is the inlet for the high pressure liquid refrigerant coming from the condenser. This is where the refrigerant enters the TXV before being metered into the evaporator.
What are some things I should check if I don't have enough liquid entering the TX valve?
The liquid line is properly charged and not restricted. Ensure that the filter dryer isn't clogged. Also, verify the superheat setting on the TXV. Lastly, make sure the external equalizer line isn't blocked.
What is this down below here?
The adjustment stem used to fine-tune the superheat setting of the TXV. By turning it, you can increase or decrease the superheat to ensure optimal performance of your refrigeration system.
For a low temp walk-in box, what is the recommended superheat setting?
For a low temp walk-in box, the recommended superheat setting is typically around 4 to 6 degrees Fahrenheit. This ensures efficient operation and prevents liquid refrigerant from returning to the compressor.
What is that in Kelvin?
Kelvin, the superheat setting of 4 to 6 degrees Fahrenheit is roughly 2.2 to 3.3 degrees Kelvin. This range helps maintain efficient operation and protects the compressor.
So that blew my mind this week. Okay, and this is just the beginning. And do you think that could be helpful for your team? Say an apprentice comes in and says, "Hey, hey, Jason, I'm running into an issue. I don't really know. I looked up in ChatGPT, and this kind of information it told me. You got any advice?" Like, this is game-changing stuff. What I just showed you there blew my mind this weekend. If your mind's not blown, that's fine. And if you don't think that is cool, I think that is super cool, because we can train a lot more people and help a lot more people understand refrigeration a lot faster. Now, it's not perfect. I've done that before, like this week, and I didn't say what it was, and it said, "Oh, the external equalizer was the inlet," because of the way I was holding the phone. And I said, "No, that's not. It's the external equalizer." And it said, "Oh, you're right. Sorry about that." Explain what the external equalizer is. So it's not perfect, but it's a stepping stone for us to really gain a lot more knowledge. Gain a lot more knowledge. What do you guys think about that? Is this something you're going to try? Because this is what we try to teach and share and help, even in our refrigeration programs, like our supermarket academy and our CO2 programs. Like I said, CO2 is newer, but like HVAC is a lot bigger, so there's more information on HVAC. So if you start doing this on air conditioning systems, or if you start doing it on package units, there's a lot more information to pull from. And people say, they're like, oh, well, I've had this so many times already, even over in the last 2 weeks, be like, well, it's going to give you the wrong information. Well, you train it. Okay. It's no different than going on Google and potentially reading the wrong document and getting the wrong information. But this is sourcing from a lot more sources a lot faster. And once again, I could have asked it, where's your sources from? Can you get this information from Sportland? Can you ask Danfoss for this information? What if it was a Corel valve? This stuff is cool. And yeah, I'm not sure if you think it's cool or not. And it doesn't matter to me. That's totally up to you. But this is what we bring here at Refrigeration Mentor to try to teach our students so it can fast track them, because we can't remember all this stuff in refrigeration. I've been doing this for 20 years. And I feel like now I'm remembering more and more. I used to say, man, I'm forgetting more than I ever did before. Now, with using AI, I am fast tracking my knowledge because I'm remembering stuff, because we got a lot to know. Like today, I did a E2 troubleshooting situation using AI. Asked them where to source. And then I went right into the manual, found that exact same thing in the manual. What was the app I use? That is ChatGPT. Just what I showed you on what I showed you on the screen. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So, and this here is, and this is just open AI. There is better and quicker models, like Tersh said earlier. Gemini, I'm going to go check that one out and learn about that. I hope this brings you some value, and like share this information. Like a lot of people um, aren't interested in learning about AI in our industry, it seems. Some people do, some people don't. Some people are shying away from it. It is different. It's something that we're not used to. But it is a thing that I really believe we can use as a tool. It's something else in our arsenal of knowledge. Excuse me, that you could do. And like, we didn't dive into it. I've done in situations where I'm having this defrost issue. It's a hot gas system. It has this solenoid. This is what should the differential be across the valve? Where it should be located? What is the name brands? Can you pull up that manual? Bam, 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 bam. And this is to make you more efficient. And there's people out there, and I know not you guys, but there are people that, well, I get paid by the hour. Well, you know what? If you want to make more money, you bring more value to your company sitting on a job and just waiting. I've done it before, because I know sitting on a job just waiting for the 8 hours to go through to get paid is not how you make more money. It's bringing more value like this. If you can train 10 technicians on your team, that brings you value, brings you value. I definitely recommend getting out to Emily podcast, checking that out. Couple of things I want to show you what's going on at Refrigeration Mentor. If you don't know, we are a technical training organization. For those that don't know, we train and educate technicians, teaching them the foundation right up to advanced technical skills and electrical controls and CO2. And we love sharing and helping at the end of the day. We got some courses coming up. We just launched a Supermarket Academy. This here is huge. Something that I've been working on for well over a year. Something that I wish I had if I was when I was 5 or 6 years in supermarket, doing service, doing maintenance. I wish I had this academy. This is why I built it. Small, short videos that really can help the technicians. So if you have an apprentice on your team and they're out working on an EPR and they're like, man, how do I set up an EPR? They can go and just watch a short video, say, okay, this is how you set up an EPR. This is what you got to look for. Or if they're working on a DDR valve, or if they're working on an A8 or A9, how do you set it up? How do I set up fan speed controls? Short videos. I'm super pumped up. There's quizzes, there's workbooks. I spent a lot of time in this academy. So if you have apprentices, or even if you've been 5 or 6 years, I have technicians over 10 years in the program. They're like, man, this is awesome. It helped me remember a bunch of stuff that I forgot. And it's showing me things that I didn't learn yet, that I never got a chance, because I'm doing service and this is what I'm starting. And all this oil management section, man, I knew about that, but I didn't really know this could cause the oil separator not to separate that oil, or the oil OCV valve. You might need two of them, and because the pressure differential and the low load application, it gets so low, and all the curtains are down, and you just don't have enough pressure to push that oil, and it trips off at 2 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the winter, only time a couple months a year. Like these are the things that we try to strive on, and as well as many other of our programs. I see a lot of you have been into a lot of these programs, but you got to invest in yourself. You got to invest in your team. And we got a community. We just launched a refrigeration mentor community. You can see it back here, right? So where we dive in, we meet weekly, got a group of us learning together, growing together. Got other courses in there so that I don't release to the public. So really want to help uplift industries. I hope this brought you value tonight, this AI troubleshooting, or even at least open up your eyes or help you think a little bit differently. If one or two of you even talk to someone about it tomorrow, I did my job here because I know this can help you. And it's not perfect. Like I said a dozen times, it's not perfect, but you know what? It's a supplement that's going to help you to get you to your next level. Head to refrigerationmentor.com. Check out what we have. If you know anyone that wants to grow in refrigeration, commercial refrigeration, even I got a chiller course out now, and I've partnered up with a company. But if you know people that want to learn and really fast track their knowledge, let them know about what Refrigeration Mentor has to offer. We're here to help grow the industry, help us all get better. That's what it's about. All of us getting better, all of us feeling more confident, stress free, because I was that technician out there. I was going to service calls, leaving the service call, not knowing if I fixed it or not. And it took me way too long to get to where I wanted to be. It took me too long because I didn't have the right coaches, I didn't have the right mentors, and I didn't have the right knowledge at the time. I do now. And this is why I want to help other technicians out there get to their next level a lot faster than it took me to get there. So hopefully this brought you a lot of value. Share that, tell people about this. And we'll see you at the next refrigeration mentor training. See you, everyone. Thank you. You're welcome.